Toothworms and Spider Juice, An Illustrated History of Dentistry, read by Natalie Barton. Chapter 1. The Ancient Toothworm. If you have ever suffered from a throbbing toothache, or been around someone who has, then you know how painful an infected tooth can be. Your only thought is to find the nearest dentist and get some relief. In ancient times and throughout the Middle Ages, people experienced many toothaches, but they had no dentists, as we know them today, to help them. How do we know that people who lived long ago had dental problems? Teeth outlast all other skeletal remains because they have an outer layer of enamel, which is the hardest substance in the human body. Historians and scientists have found partial skulls and jaws full of teeth, some more than 5,000 years old, in burial grounds, tombs, and other sites of early civilizations. Information gathered from the study of these teeth has shown historians that people of ancient times did indeed have missing, crooked, or impacted teeth, and many suffered from decay in the teeth that they had left. The ancient remains even indicate what sort of dentistry, if any, was done. Another good source of dental information came from paintings on the inner walls of tombs and writings on clay tablets, and later on papyrus. It was from all these recordings that we discovered the ancient belief in the toothworm. People of these earlier times believed that the stabbing pain of a toothache was caused by a toothworm, which either had appeared spontaneously or had bored its way into the tooth. If the tooth pain was severe, it meant that the worm was thrashing about, but if the aching stopped, then the worm was resting. Cultures all over the world, many of whom had no contact with each other, held stubbornly to this myth. The folklore of the toothworm persisted from ancient times to the beginning of the 18th century. The first recounting of the toothworm was found in the royal library in Babylonia. Inscribed in cuneiform on a Sumerian clay tablet around 3000 BC was a bleak poem. After Anu had created heaven, the earth had created the rivers had created the canals had created the marsh had created the worm went weeping before Shamash, his tears flowing before Ea. What wilt thou give me for my food? What wilt thou give me for my sucking? I shall give thee the ripe fig and the apricot. Of what use are they to me, the ripe fig and the apricot? Lift me up, and among the teeth, and the gums cause me to dwell. The blood of the tooth will I suck, and of the gum I will gnaw the roots. Had these ancient people actually seen a toothworm? Modern historians think that early civilizations may have thought the pulp inside a tooth was a worm. It is a moist, limp tissue with a worm-like appearance. The toothworm folklore was easily believed in early societies because of their strong faith in magical and religious elements. Demons were thought to inhabit the body. No one knew that bacteria caused infection in the body and teeth. In the thinking of the time, if people had a toothache, then they probably deserved it because they had displeased the demons. Bizarre and gross remedies were used to sicken and drive out the evil spirit that had turned itself into a dirty worm inside the tooth. One remedy involved holding in the mouth a juicy concoction made of spiders, eggshells, and oil boiled together until reduced in 1/3 of its volume. Another method involved building a wall around a decayed tooth with wax and then filling it with an acid solution. Today we know that if any relief was experienced after using these harsh mixtures, it was because the nerves in the pulp had died. In ancient Egypt, tooth disease afflicted many, including the pharaohs. One reason was their coarse diet. The grain used for bread, a mainstay of the Egyptian diet, whether people were rich or poor, was ground on rough stones with many small particles of grit mixed in with the flour. In addition, the vegetables they ate were grown in a sandy soil, which added more roughness to their meals. This coarse Egyptian food made teeth wear down on the biting surfaces, exposing the pulp and resulting in abscesses and toothaches. Another reason the ancient Egyptians had so much trouble with their teeth was that they didn't clean them often enough. Many Egyptian skulls were found to have suffered major bone loss, resulting from the heavy calculus tartar on their teeth. No attempts appear to have been made to remove these hard deposits. Other ancient cultures, such as the Hebrews, about 1000 BC, highly valued sound, healthy teeth. The mouth was considered the doorway to the body and was to be kept scrupulously clean to protect whatever entered from contamination. The Hebrews advised against using too much vinegar, which they believed was harmful to the teeth. But if the gums were infected, then vinegar and wine were used to heal them. The Hebrews, however, still had many toothaches. They recorded in the Talmud a whole list of remedies, including old wives' tales and gross cures for painful teeth. In ancient Greece, about 287 BC, as in other world cultures, the practice of oral hygiene was slow in coming. It was considered a virtue for men to shave frequently and have white teeth, but regular dental care was not known in Greece until it became a Roman province in 146 BC. Under Roman influence, the Greeks learned how to clean their teeth. Greek physicians began to recommend that every morning people should rub their gums and teeth with their fingers and use ground mint inside and out to remove food particles. In ancient Rome, Celsus, about 25 BC through AD 50, was a famous encyclopedist who compiled information about many subjects. In his text, On Medicine, considered the most outstanding medical work of Rome, Celsus offered valuable medical and dental information, including tips such as rinsing the mouth with fresh water in the morning. But many of the Romans still suffered from periodontal disease and toothaches. Celsus left behind a handwritten book describing bleeding gums, loose teeth, gums separated from teeth, and ulcers around the teeth. For bleeding gums, he recommended chewing on unripe pears and apples, making the fruit juices go into the infected gums, and then washing the juices away with weak vinegar and astringents like alum. If that didn't work, then his next treatment was to cauterize, sear, the ulcerated gum with a red-hot iron. Another celebrated Roman, the great naturalist Pliny the Elder, AD 23 through 79, wrote prescriptions that sound silly to us now. Pliny said, "To stop toothache, bite on a piece of wood from a tree struck by lightning, and touch the tooth with the frontal bone of a lizard taken during a full moon." Other advice given by Pliny was to find a frog in the light of the full moon, pry its mouth open, spit into it, and say, "Frog, go, and take my toothache with thee." Pliny did not guarantee that these treatments would work. Because communication was limited in ancient times and the printing press had not been invented, most of the medical and dental advice prescribed by Pliny, Celsus, and others influenced only the people around them.